Hey everybody, Adam Savage. I'm at Propstore in Los Angeles with Brandon Alinger.
Adam, good to see you again.
Good to see you again. It's just been a few weeks.
Yeah, you were just here.
Dude.
Welcome back.
Thank you. And what a welcoming, because you had one of these at the San Diego Comic-Con a few years back.
Yes.
And this is the ZF-1 from The Fifth Element. I gotta say, this is one of my all-time favorite movie weapons ever designed.
You're into it.
I am so into this. I want you to know that, oh my God.
Here, let me tell you what I know about it.
All right,
and then I want you to tell me what you know about it. So what I know is about 12, 13, 14 years ago, a couple of ZF-1s, real ZF-1 props turned up for the very first time. And
Right.
Before that, no one had ever seen one. And it was sort of a mythical prop, much like the Blade Runner blaster or lightsabers, anything like that. People just remember this prop. They love this prop.
Yeah.
We finally got in touch with someone who worked on the film who had a couple of them. And this is one of two that came in. And this was missing a few components, like some of the panels here, and they had to be replicated. But because we had two of them, they could be recreated very, very faithfully from the other. And I know that they built different props for different versions, but you've studied it a lot. So you tell me what you know about ZF-1s in general and this one specifically.
My obsession goes so deep that I own several international versions of The Fifth Element, because like only in the German version do you see one of these with its cover off, so that you can actually learn about the internal structure.
You're saying there's different cuts of the film for different
There
markets?
are different cuts of the behind the scenes material.
Oh, wow.
For the different international. So
Yeah.
Die Fünfte Element is your reference when you want to see one of these with the cover off. I know these were built by Simon Atherton.
Yeah. Very
and
famous British armor.
like he's made the weapons for everything
Pulse
from
rifle,
Gladiator to Aliens. And I gotta say, in the very beginning, in the late 90s, I was doing SketchUp models to try and understand the structure of this thing. I believe I'm the first person to realize that this is the tip of a microtorch, because it's the same microtorch that I've been using for 25 years.
I didn't know that.
And I mean, they built different versions because in the film, it folds all the way into an egg, and that's not feasible.
Right.
So they built some mechanical versions to demonstrate parts of its functionality. And I think this one has some pneumatics, it looks like, into it that allows some of these parts to expand.
Really? You think that some of that is practical?
Oh, I do. I see a pneumatic cylinder in here. So I think that when this thing comes up and down.
I think you can lift this off if you want to get it closer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we've got a pneumatic cylinder in here. It looks like it might be part of a mechanism to raise this up.
The other thing that I noticed, which I was going to ask you about, is this almost looks like a little pull cable in there. See connected to the white string with the, and that runs up into the barrel. And I don't know for what purpose, but the front section of the barrel here, the black part has been recreated. That's a replica, because that was missing from this version. But I don't know if there was something with this extending, with the barrel extending, and maybe that's the idea there.
Take a look at it. I don't think that extends, because it doesn't look like it telescopes inside this one. And that screw would inhibit any retraction.
But these cylinders look like they could.
Yeah, but they don't. They're hard mounted back here. But I'm trying to figure. So a battery pack clearly went in there. This cylinder down here pushes. Let's see here. Okay, so it gets air from there. Comes around here. Okay, so here's a manifold of some air. Right. So this might have been not the cylinder, but the air tank. And with that air tank, they could power this manifold to go to, okay, so I think this might be the one where you see these things come out a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Like the arrows, like they shoot.
Yeah, they pop forward.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can see all the airlines running into there.
Right, you can see the airlines going in. So that was probably, it might have been just for that close-up that it does that.
Or do you think they would actually fire?
Oh, that might have been. They might have actually fired.
Because I think they do shoot in the movie, right?
Right, and because we've got two banks of 5, so this is the firing version.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Dude, yeah, right, because here's back here.
I don't know if we
see is there's two banks of 5 valves each, and given that we have 5 arrows each. Oh, yeah, and they're sitting on that brass. I think this was one of the firing versions. That's amazing.
We screen matched it to the shot where he demonstrates the rocket launcher. which I guess is the main rocket launcher. But there's nothing to say that it wasn't also used for the shots with the darts.
Well, and the rocket launcher was a very easy prop to activate because you just need to put a rocket engine in the back of the thing and it fires. I went so far as on my show Savage Builds, I built a working version of this with it shot a freeze ray, it shot a net. It had a way of shooting bullets back to the same point using a gimbal up here and Nerf darts.
Oh, wow.
And actually, Gary Oldman graciously was part of that episode. And because I'm such an admirer of the movie, of the weapon, and of Gary's, I made him a ZF-1 that is in his collection.
He should have one.
He absolutely should have one.
I'm glad you were able to make that happen for him. If he didn't keep one from the film, at least he has one now.
Like you, I knew that there was so little reference of this until very recently, but seeing it up close and in person, it is absolutely one of the most beautiful weapons ever made in a movie, honestly.
Do we know, is there any data on how many different versions were done for the film?
I don't know. I
mean,
have this.
You could probably watch the movie and kind of piece it together.
Yeah, 4 to 6 mechanical versions, and then endless numbers of pods, and
Yeah. It's interesting because, the two that came into Propstore 12, 13 years ago are the only ones I've ever seen. I think there was also a third, which was just the closed up shell.
Right.
So it just, doesn't have any of the barrels or the weaponry in it. But I don't know what became of the other ones. It's really interesting.
That's fascinating. I mean, and this stuff disappears sometimes for decades and it comes back in
Maybe
again.
it will resurface after this video.
Incredible. It is such an iconic piece and so loaded with the electronics, and thank goodness the red button still lights up.
That's right. Yes. I think a former owner has modified it to be hardwired. So, for their own display purposes. But we've got the switch on this side, which activates the lights. And like I say, we were able to screen match it based on the camo paint. I think the camo paint is very similar on all of them.
It is.
But when you really stare at it, there are slight variations.
Yeah, no, there's this whole procedure where those of us who have replicated this have gone through and made tracings of each of the different kidneys for the camouflage.
You got your stencils.
I have stared at the interstices of this thing for hundreds of hours.
And what about, do you know the very first shot in the film where it opens up in a significant way for the first time? That's computer graphics?
That's digital. Yeah. Because like R2-D2's rockets and his legs, there's no way it all actually fits together.
Too many steps of change there.
Because of how difficult it was in the beginning days when I was replicating this, to find reference, it's amazing to me now that we know so much.
Yeah, but I think that speaks to just the whole world of movie props at large. Originals and replicas, it's like the knowledge base today compared to what it was, let's say, 20 years ago. Vastly different, right?
Indeed.
And just reference material that's surfaced by original pieces coming out or 4K transfers of films that we can go and look at.
That's a big help. That's such a help, the 4K transfers.
Yeah,
you get such great reference material.
It's really interesting for us trying to authenticate things. We get people who are collectors in the 90s and they have a bunch of stuff they bought from a bunch of different sources. And sometimes you go through those collections and you go, well, this piece is absolute gold. Like nobody's seen anything like it for 30 years and people have been wondering where it is, and that's treasure. And that's nothing. Like that's a complete fake and complete forgery, because just people didn't know you didn't have the same avenues to go and sort of check things out that you do today.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting.
All right. So moving from one iconic weapon and an incredible director to another amazing director and another incredible weapon and another amazing shop, actually. This is from Avatar.
Yes.
And this is built by our friends at Weta Workshop.
Yeah. And this is a really cool, look how heavy that is, electronic version of the prop. I think just like the ZF-1, what I know about these is, again, they had a few different styles.
Right.
And so they did some, I think, with real firearms. I don't know this particular weapon design, but certainly some of the weapons in Avatar were real firearms shooting blanks. And then Weta built these great electronic versions. And so this one, I think if you activate the switch at the bottom here.
All right.
And then pull the trigger.
Whoa! This has the reciprocation. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like they stole the mechanism out of a reciprocating saw or something. But it's got recoil. Look what it's doing to your shoulder.
No,
then it's not just a barrel flash. Look what's going on with the barrel. The barrel is coming forward and flashing. And then going back into the gun.
Oh my God, that's crazy great.
And this one, as I understand it, they would also take actual shells. This one doesn't have its magazine, but right in there, you would load a magazine with square brass shells and you would kick those out of the side. So you've got like full practical functionality here with all of the safety benefit.
We were talking to Peter Lyon at Weta Workshop about experiments he was doing on this front almost a decade ago. And I can't imagine how much fun it was for the actors to run around with these,
man.
giving them all that kind of feedback return.
What a great prop, right?
Oh man, that's like actors want that sort of immersive experience. And I'm always noticing, because everyone uses the gas blowback firearms for the handguns.
Oh, the airsoft.
Airsoft. And you notice that nobody's hand actually ever moves when they're pulling the trigger.
Right, it's not violent enough.
No. And, oh, dude, I could just do this all day long. Okay, let's keep talking about this.
It's also, so even aside from the practical side, which is incredibly impressive, I love the design of it. I think it's a beautiful take on sort of sci-fi weaponry.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of alien stuff, right?
But not too far. It's future, but not too far in the future to feel disconnected from what we currently have.
Right.
That whole idea of the magazine being behind the gun. I know there are some guns that actually have this structure, but it is magnificent. And we got to visit Weta several times while they were working on Avatar, and sometimes we're seeing stuff that we can't film.
Oh, okay.
Or, you know, but
did you see any of this?
We saw some pieces of this and some of the masks being made.
Oh, okay.
And again, like the quality that they were turning out, because they were making so many of these, it was like a factory production line of super high quality products from the future.
Yeah. And the vast majority of this is custom, right? I mean, this scope, this is not a real scope. This is a sci-fi scope that they went and made.
But they've built it around, they've made it feel like a real scope.
Can you look
I
through
can
it?
see all the way through it, and I've got some red.
It's too much fun.
It is too much fun. Oh man. And so the auction is currently coming up.
Yes, it's the catalog is live now, and the auction itself is March 26th to 28th. These pieces are both on day one, and day one we do from the Peterson Automotive Museum. So if anybody's in town, it's going to be a fun day over there.
So it's not online only; it's actually going to be happening.
Yeah, it's live auction. Live auctioneers there calling and selling lots, and there's in-person attendance at the Peterson. And it's going to be really interesting to see what these go for. I think, I mean, both of them, but especially the ZF-1.
It feels like a unicorn. It feels like a really, really special piece. Yeah. And once we stop rolling cameras, I'm going to take some careful pictures. This is amazing, man.
The weight.
I know. No, both of them feel like they absolutely should feel. That's the best part of this. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us. Go to propstore.com. There's a link in the description, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching that video. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you we have some excellent merch. We have a 5-pack of demerit badges for sale right now at tested/store.com. We've got the I hung it off of level demerit badge, the I built the chair backwards demerit badge, the I hit my thumb with a hammer demerit badge. We've got the stapler in my finger demerit badge, and my favorite, I stuck the duct tape to itself demerit badge. Get yours now, tested/store.store, tested-store. Tested. It's right here. There. Just click there.